some Yankees and Mets games this year, actually, at City Field. Does a lot of great work on the radio landscape and covering some teams. He also went to the World Series this year. So, Samori, thanks for taking the time and give people a little intro about yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Julian, for having me, man. Pleasure being here. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to cover the Yankees and the Mets now for almost 20 years, and
Wow.
yeah, and the Knicks for same amount of time, and so it's been a lot of interesting experiences. I've done a lot of stories on all these teams, and myself, I grew up. I'm from New York City. I grew up in Uptown Manhattan, on the border of Harlem and Washington Heights. And like growing up, I could see Yankee Stadium from outside of my parents' living room window. So I became a Yankee fan from a very young age. Like I was attracted to the stadium as a young kid because it would light up when they played every night. So dad, I would always ask him what that was. And so finally, one day he told me to turn on channel 11, and I would see what it was. And so I did that, and so it was the Yankees. So I would just tune in every night. And before I really even knew completely what was going on, I was just watching every night. So yeah, so like baseball became my first sport, and uh, you know, my first love, and yeah, man. So I've just been blessed to be able to continue to be able to cover this stuff.
Yeah, it was cool meeting you at City Field this year with some of the team with Latino and then also doing some work for World Baseball Network. But I actually have something interesting to say to what you said. You probably live close to my grandparents because they could see the stadium from their window too. They're in the Manhattan side though, off 173rd, so not too far from the bridge. So you're probably
Awesome.
like in that vicinity somewhere. I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm not. I'm in the 160s, but
Okay.
yeah. I mean, but yeah, it's same area. Like I said, one on the border of Harlem and Washington Heights. So yeah, so that's a little bit more into Washington Heights. Yeah, but it's just a few blocks away from me, and yeah, so uh, definitely. And what's very interesting is that back in the day, also right in the same area was the Polo Grounds in New York
Yep.
Giants, and so New York Giants were playing right there, right across the river was Yankee Stadium. So that was really had to be great.
So you've covered some All-Star games too, I'm assuming, because you got that hat on.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, this is the Seattle All Star Game from 2 years ago. My first time ever in Seattle, Washington, and first time ever in the Pacific Northwest. Had a great time, and yeah, man. I mean, so the All Star Game, I've been to a few of them now. So first one, Julian, I ever covered was 2008.
Oh wow.
That was one of the most special events I ever covered. I would say probably top two. You know, the top one is probably next year when the Yankees won the World Series. I got a chance to cover that
Oh
first year of the
wow.
new
Okay.
stadium, so that was really cool. But 2008 was the last year of the old Yankee Stadium, and the All Star Game was there, and every living Hall of Famer was invited to the All Star Game that year, and so I was able to interview so many legends, man. Like some of them who were not even here with us anymore, and so like that was my first All Star Game. Then my next one was 5 years later at City Field. So that was a cool one. I remember it being very hot that weekend. that you know, then from 2017 until now, I've covered every All Star game. So Miami 2017, 2018 Washington D.C., 2019 Cleveland, 2021 Colorado, 2022.
I was out there too, but I didn't have a pass. But I did go to Coors Field.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
actually the only All Star game I've been to. Believe it or not, as far away as that is, I haven't done any other ones. But we might
awesome,
change that next year since it's in
awesome,
Philly.
awesome.
Hopefully, work this time, so it's not far. It's gonna be a lot of
Yeah,
people that want to do that, but
yeah.
hopefully I can get in there. So I think that's a great story. I love hearing about this and like. Tell us like about your radio hustle and your grinds, like what your radio show life is like.
Yeah, you know what? So at WBAI, man, like I first started with an internship, and they were not doing any sports at all at that station.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I actually went there to learn how to use the how to work the engineers board because, like, really at the time, right, about like 20 years ago, a good friend of mine, my best friend Alex Celsius, and I, we were like had like a little record label, and he was the rapper, and I was like the business side of it and all that. So I was trying to learn how to use the engineer's board so I could help record and all that. So anyway, but always, always was a huge sports person. I was began writing, when I was in like junior high school. But basically, I went to the radio station, the intern, and long story short, I got an opportunity to be on the air, like kind of situation where preparation meant opportunity. Like I wasn't even going there first to be on the air to do sports or anything. Then, you know, I saw I had an opportunity, and I ended up giving them a demo and telling them, what I could do. Ended up getting on a morning show there, and I was on a morning show every morning for several years. And eventually, by doing that, I was able to get into the game, to cover games, because I was, every day on the radio, I would start doing sports reports and all that. And pretty much how it started, like creating a sports department at WBAI, and like that's pretty much been like my number one home, where I built everything. And yeah, man. So like that's really how everything started.
That's an awesome story and awesome
Yeah,
grind, because when I first met you, I didn't realize like what you had gone through to get to that point.
yeah,
The fact that you've been around for 20 plus years in the sports world is great news. I've kind of been like, I guess like I kind of started my journey like 2017 or 2018, but not like really covering games. Started covering a few things like 2021 and 2022. I guess you could say next year will be like my third year as like a semi-full media member. Not that I'm doing every game, but like getting access to certain games. So next year will kind of be year three, if you want to look at it that way. But it's definitely been much more than 3 years, as you would know, to even get to the point where I am now. So like, it's definitely fun to meet and stuff. So let's talk about the Mets. We got a very interesting story from Mike Puma, who's a very well-respected reporter. And I actually haven't gotten into this with anyone else, so I'm actually curious to see what you think about all this stuff, because you were there a lot too with me in certain situations. Like, how valid do you think that stuff is with the disconnect in the Mets clubhouse? Like, do you think they could fix this if, like, maybe they trade McNeil or something, which is highly possible right now? Do you think there is a problem with Soto and Lindor? Do you think that's, like, being overblown?
Yeah, you know what? That's very interesting. Yeah, the whole Juan Soto dynamic, very interesting, man. Just from how he left the Yankees a year ago in free agency to go to the Mets, like that to me was shocking. First of all, and
Yeah, that was a lot to me too. Like a lot of people expected it, and like I know the money was there, but like to see a player of that stature lead the Yankees and the Mets is something very new that Yankee fans really weren't used to, and now you see them doing Devin Williams again. So like you wonder how often is this going to become a thing now? With guys crossing town, with Cohen willing to pay more money than the Yankees are, but yeah. So go back in, my bad.
yeah, and we got to talk in a minute. 'Cause I want to hear your thoughts about some of the Met free agents right now, who I think the
Okay.
Yankees might maybe probably should holler at. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Get some get back, but yeah, I mean, you know, uh, Soto, for him to leave the Yankees, like everything you said, right, correct. And then he goes to the Mets, and you would think that Francisco Lindor and him, you would think they would be close, or because they spent all this time wooing him. I mean, I imagine that Lindor was part. I heard right that he was did play some kind of part in helping,
I'm sure.
lure Soto to the team. I mean, I guess even if he really didn't want Soto on the team deep down, if the Mets came to him and said, "Hey, could you help us do something to get Soto here?" I guess he would still go along with it. But I mean, you never know. You never know, man. I mean, listen, all these guys, all right, we know have egos. They may not show it in front of the media, right, when we're around, then they're professional and all that. But to get to I mean, everybody has some kind of ego, especially uh, athletes. To get this far, believe that you are extremely talented. And Soto, he's getting paid like twice as much as anybody in the locker room. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and he didn't do anything for the team. So immediately that could cause conflict. Um, and I mean, Lindor and Soto, yeah, like you would think they would be cool, be tight. You would think Lindor would be happy to have somebody that can, help make them better. But again, you can't ignore like the fans, easy for the fans to like ignore how much guys are being paid and all that. But I mean, I would imagine you put yourself in a similar situation at a workplace and hear somebody coming in getting paid so much more than you. I mean, people are gonna, there's gonna be whispers, all right. People want to, talk, whatever. But I don't know. I mean, but yeah. So I mean, so maybe all that has something to do with it. And then, like early in the season, we heard how Soto wasn't happy being with the Mets and how he kind of felt like he made a mistake, even though he never said that. Like that was always the rumors when Soto started off so slow and kind of seemed like he wasn't in the best of moods or whatever. And then I mean, like with the team collapsing, I mean, could that have anything to do with Soto and Lindor not getting along? I mean, certainly when you have a fly like that, I can't imagine anybody's going to be too happy, right? So, but like when you lose, all kind of stories come out about how people don't like each other and all this yada yada yada. But when you lose, no one's going to be happy. Bottom line, McNeil, yeah, I think it's probably time for him to go. I guess. I mean, he's been a really good Met, but I don't know. I don't think the Mets will really lose anything big if he's gone. It seems like they're trying to get rid of some of the core. Nimmo's gone. They better bring back Alonso, but you never know. I mean,
yeah.
So, I mean, but instead of letting Alonso go, if you want to get rid of some of the core, okay, let McNeil go. It appears that Lindor and him have some kind of issue, which also brings up something else real quickly because when you watch that play, John Boy did a thing on it, where they kind of tried to figure out like where Lindor and McNeil had an issue, and then we see the video, and there could have been an issue with that, but like again, these guys being professional, you can't really tell by just looking at it because Lindor, wherever he was unhappy with, he knows cameras are on him. He's not going to get really upset and start voicing his displeasure so loudly with all these cameras around. But maybe behind scenes, but just interesting how these professionals, a lot of times, things that happen on the field that they're not happy with, but because they know there are many cameras around, they'll keep it cool, and then later, things that happen behind closed doors.
Yeah, Nathan says what's up to us, and he's wondering about some Yankees news, but we'll do Mets. We're going to continue with Mets since I started with Mets, but we will get to Yankees, of course, obviously. So I'll give you some takes here. Let's get back to it a little. So, like, I think there's also an interesting dynamic with Nimmo because there was that stuff that came out with Ottavino saying how he wasn't really fond of like Lindor getting all that captainship praise. I remember that Ottavino had put out to the media a few days before Nimmo got traded.
I'm sorry. Let me ask you. So you're saying that Ottavino came out and said that Nimmo was not really feeling how Lindor was named captain? Is that what you're saying?
Like how the talk, he wasn't like supporting the talk of Lindor being named captain. He never did get it, obviously, but like Ottavino put out some stuff like a few days before Nimmo was traded. I gotta see if I can find it really quick. I might be able to. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Yeah, I'll give you the context a little bit better.
Yeah, because I did hear that that Ottavino made some comments and it kind of created some buzz, but I didn't really hear anything that he said. So, okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
I do see some stuff circulating here. Let me see where it was. Yeah, he said he thinks Nimmo is pissed about the Lindor captain talk, and something like that. Yeah, he said in addition, Nimmo's the longest tenured Met who's playing influential on team affairs. How can the Mets leave Lindor captain without making Nimmo one? And then there's the Soto who only arrived is commanding a figure of contract for the next 15 years. Does he fit in? Yeah, there's like a lot of disarray here. But
and so yeah. And Lindor is not the official captain right now. No, okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, guys have egos, and in front of the media, they're not going to say anything. But you never know what's going through guys' minds. I mean, and if Nimmo's feeling this way, how do you think Alonso's feeling? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not even a Mets fan. I feel like he got disrespected by the Mets. You know what I'm saying? The contract offers. I mean, like, and look at how much money they gave Soto and everything Alonso done for the franchise, and they really wanted to give him what he, anything close to what he wanted, and they give Soto a boatload of money. I mean, I'm sure if I was Alonso, I would feel some kind of way about the contract they gave Lindor. You know what I'm saying? And not trying to get me. So. Nimmo feeling this way, yeah. I mean, hey, that very well could be true. I mean, it's very interesting. So, and like you wonder how guys got on behind closed doors. I mean, with the conflict with Nimmo. I mean, what Ottavino saying. I mean, did Nimmo and Lindor? I mean, so I was thinking their relationship couldn't be that warm if that's how Nimmo felt,
Yeah, because Nimmo was like, it's supposed to be one person, Nimmo said in the captaincy. From what I've heard and how our team responds last year, I saw many different people step up and lead. I think that just slapping the seal one guy would probably not be a full picture of what's going on here.
That's Ottavino's quote.
I think that Nimmo said that to somebody.
But could you read that back again real quick?
Yeah, it's supposed to be one person. This was Anthony Tacomo wrote this, a good Mets reporter. Nimmo said it's supposed to be one person of the captaincy, but from what I've seen and how our team responded last year, I saw many people step up and lead. And I think just slapping the C on one guy would probably not be the full picture of what's going on here. I don't know when that was said, but it was published on November 21st. It was published last year, so maybe that was like some old feelings being rehashed. It was March 2nd, 2025, and then like it's getting resurfaced now. So like, I don't know. Maybe that was a problem. I know there was definitely some people that thought there were some issues in the Met clubhouse with the collapse and everything. A lot of mouths to feed, a lot of egos, a lot of big salaries. Like Soto comes in there, and other guys aren't getting nearly as much, like you said, even though Soto earns his contract. And then like Brandon Nimmo, I think you noticed this too, and Juan Soto, they barely ever came out when the media was there. Both of them were hit inside a lot, so they were probably kind of close. And maybe Nimmo was more into Soto than he was Lindor or something. And then Soto also said that he viewed Starling Marte as the captain and the leader as well. Soto definitely stated that too. So he was way closer with Marte.
Soto said that when Soto say this?
I don't know when it was said. I gotta find it, but it was definitely out there. I'll look it up in a second. But all I know is Soto and Marte were really close. I think they've known each other for a while, and I gotta see if I could pull this one. But it definitely was said. Hold on, I gotta find it. I'll try to get you the context here. I might have to Google it. Twitter's being funny, but I'll get you like the exact quote.
No, but yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find it.
Well,
I'll look it up.
If Soto actually said that, if he actually said that,
I got it. I got your quote. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I don't know when it was. It says August 28th, apparently, on the post this is being surfaced. He's literally the leader of this team. I feel like he's actually the captain of this team. He's bringing everybody together. He's bringing the energy that we need. He's the guy who's been stepping up every single time. It doesn't matter what. He's actually the real deal of the team. He's the model of the team. Everybody when they want to talk and get to know something or have a conversation, they can go to him. He's actually the real deal.
And Soto said this.
Yeah.
And when was this? Did he say this? Did this come out?
I saw this published on Twitter on August 28th, and I can actually add it into the chat now so you can see it. Well, give me one.
Oh yeah, no, fine. I mean, I know that Marte had a solid season, but that's saying a lot. And if Juan Soto saying that, I mean, that's
go.
me.
You're right.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
yeah, I know they're also close because they're Dominicans. I think they've known each other since they were young, and like I think Soto was just like gravitating towards Marte. I think Marte was part of the reason why he signed with the Mets, actually, even though Marte's not going to be around again probably because he's a free agent and he's older now. I would be surprised if he returns to the Mets, but I guess you never know. So
no, but listen, I mean, that to me, that's a damning quote. That's a damning quote because just having any common sense, like you would know just with Lindor's position on the team to make those comments. That's like to me, that sounds like a diss to Lindor. Mm-hmm. And if it's not, like you would think he'd be smart enough to know that it could be taken that way. So like why say that? That doesn't sound good to me at all. So I could see some issues between Soto and Lindor if Soto feels so freely coming out and saying that. And like it's crazy because you would think that these guys, okay, one guy's Dominican, one guy's Puerto Rican, they're both Latin ball players. They both speak Spanish. I mean, you would think that they would both really good ball players. And like I said, you need other talented ball players to win the championship. That's what everybody's trying to do. So you would think that Lindor and Soto would be best of buds, right? But that could be the naive way to think about it. Like what I said before, with the money and the egos, like I mean, that's very well how it could be, which is crazy. And Soto, yeah, I mean, like, what kind of guy is Soto? I don't know. Like, he comes off like when you see him, he comes off like this cool guy. I never seen him do anything disrespectful or like really trying, really big time somebody disrespectfully. But at the same time, you see the way he's moved. Like going from team to team. All he cared about really was getting the biggest dollar, and how he left the Yankees. Like to me, that was cold. I'm sorry, like that was cold. How you could just like go to the Yankee universe and have everybody from the organization to the employees, everybody in that building, the fans, kiss your butt and bow down to you the whole time. And they offer you pretty much the same the Mets did. And you have no problem about just turning your back to all that. I mean, like, that's pretty ballsy. You know what I'm saying? But it just shows you that he don't care about all that team stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hate to put it that way, but that's the way it comes off to me. Like, he doesn't care about all that. I'm going to be cool with everybody. Want to build relationships, So that's very well how it could be with the Mets. Like, you would think he got this huge, 14, 15-year contract. He would think, okay, this is my home now. I can, chill and embrace everybody. But who knows,
Yeah, it may have been a cold welcoming for him in some regards. Maybe him and Lindor aren't the best of friends. I don't think they hate each other, but I just don't think they're best friends. Like, let me
Yeah,
make that clear. I don't think there's like
yeah,
disdain between the two, but like maybe there's some
yeah,
small disconnects. Like, they're not hanging out off the field, which is fine. You don't have to hang out with
yeah,
everybody. Soto's very
yeah,
reserved. He's very quiet. He's very into his family
yeah.
life. He's
And
not
that's
gonna
fine.
like in the
I can see
Dominican
that.
Republic
Yeah,
and everything. Like we've seen some clips and whatnot.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah,
Soto is the guy that goes about his business. He's not like a big leader guy. He's kind of just going to lead by example, like how he plays in the fields. Like that's why he was perfect with the
right.
Yankees because Judge was the leader. It looks like the Mets couldn't quite find someone that had that Judge effect in their locker room like they thought Lindor would. Maybe it didn't work out that way. I don't think that's the full reason why they collapsed. There might have been part of the reason why they collapsed.
Yeah,
There was just a lot of pitching issues as well. It was a
yeah, yeah,
top heavy
yeah.
roster too. It didn't have the best depth. It was very top heavy. Like once you got past their first four hitters, like you weren't really worried about that much most of the times.
But the fact that that quote that Soto would say that like their real captain is Starling Marte, I think that says a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely eye opening, and we have to see how
Yeah,
it's going to get resolved going forward. I definitely think Jeff's on his way out at some point. Someone could use his offense somewhere. I think his time is about used up with the Mets. David Stern's thinking of utility in first base. I don't really buy that. I think he's getting out of town. So let's talk about some free agents. So you wanted to have that discussion. So Pete Alonso to me is like the Mets should re-sign him, but I'm definitely thinking that the Boston Red Sox might go in there because the Red Sox are looking to make a splash with a power bat somewhere. If they lose Alex Bregman, I could see a world where Bregman goes to the Mets maybe and Alonso goes to Boston. Maybe a non-free, like a free agent trade sort of in a sense, but I think Alonso's return might be more likely. I've been saying this since the Williams deal because I think the Williams deal makes it less likely that Diaz returns. And if Diaz doesn't return, in theory, that's more money that they could use towards Alonso if they want to go that direction. But I think Alonso needs at least a 4 or 5 year deal. I don't know if the Mets are willing to do that. Like, what really changed based off last year? I mean, he played better, but he also is a year older now. Like, do you think they're willing to do what it takes to retain him? Because I have my doubts.
I have my serious doubts. I think they should. Like I said, I was really surprised how they dragged their feet with Alonso last off season. And if you're Alonso, of course you feel some kind of way about that. I mean, Alonso clearly he wants to be a Met. Like, why would he want to leave? He's the Mets all-time home run leader. Period.
Yep.
And he has about another half of a career to go. If he finished his career, played all of his career, or at least the next several years with the Mets, I mean, he's going to put that record, so far out of reach, and in all of our lifetime. You know what I'm saying? I mean, somebody could break it, but all this time nobody has hit more than him, so he can really put that and be the Mets home run king for the entire time he's pretty much on this planet. And we know that his grandparents have a history with Queens, and they lived in Queens for a while. Because I've seen him write about that, and
Okay.
so being in Queens with the Mets means something to him. Like he was raised in Florida, but he has grandparents have serious history here. I think he might have spoken about coming up here as a kid to visit him, something like that. But
Okay, that's some good information. I didn't know that actually.
yeah. I like he wrote a post about it. It might have been on Players Tribune. I forgot where I read it.
I'll
But
have to Google this later.
yeah. I mean, and so like the way he wrote about it, like that Queens and being a Met means something to him. But the Mets have given him no option but to feel like they don't really respect him enough to give him the kind of offer that they gave to guys who spent less time here, who came here after him after he had already established himself. I mean, first year with the Mets, he hit 53, 54 home runs, set a record. I mean,
yeah, right around there, yeah.
And a really good guy. So if I was Alonso, I would feel disrespected. Now, are there one of the teams coming to him to knock his door down, to really make a tough decision, or make an easy decision for him? If a team comes to him with the money he wants and the respect, may be an easy decision to tell the Mets piece. But I agree. I think Boston could be a team. Like Alonso seems like a Red Sox. As I feel like the Yankees last offseason, I felt like they should have got Alonso. I don't know. I think they got Paul Goldschmidt. I was saying last year they should get Alonso. And just like how when Freddie Freeman was a free agent and so was Rizzo, I was like, get Freeman, let Rizzo go, but that's another story. But
yeah.
I mean, but I thought with the Mets taking Soto last year, it would be the perfect get back for the Yankees to get Alonso. They didn't go that route. Now this year, I think that I want to ask you, how do you feel about the Yankees? Like, why do you feel like the Yankees won't go after Alonso?
I'm not. I think it's because they have Ben Rice at first, partially.
Ben Rice.
That's part of the answer. But I think they could use the righty pop. The Yankees only have two good righty power hitters, really, with Judge and Stanton at this point. They're very unbalanced again, the opposite of what it used to be.
Yeah,
they used to have too many righties. Now they have too many lefties.
Yeah. No. Like,
so Alonso could make some sense in the theory, but like I just don't. I don't know if it's. I've heard some stuff like the Yankees don't really see as a fit. I don't know if it's because of like the defense, the aging, like they don't want to be another DH or something. He's not that old, but like, I would be surprised.
You know what? I would tell you if it wasn't for Ben Rice, I would definitely be calling for the Yankees to go after Alonso. But because of Ben Rice, I definitely, I would not mind seeing Ben Rice be the everyday starter going forward and give him a chance because he could be special. But if it was
I think he should be a first baseman and not really catch if it was up to me. I'd rather him just be the full-time first baseman and let him get better at first and DH sometimes. I mean, they'll probably do some handful catching still.
If the Yankees are not going to make Ben Rice the everyday first baseman, I think they should get Alonso. It does not seem like they're going to, but let me ask you, Edwin Diaz. I mean, the Mets took Devin Williams. Like, let me tell you something here. First of all, okay.
This would be good. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to touch on Devin Williams real quick. Now, because you said that you could see the Mets now letting Edwin Diaz go because they signed Devin Williams. Now,
it's possible, I think. I know they're still in there, but there's another problem with Diaz. The Dodgers are looming on Diaz too, which is like it's definitely problematic if he goes there. That would be a doomsday scenario. So Anthony Tacoma said he likes the Dodgers to sign Diaz, so I'm definitely watching for that. But let's talk about this Williams thing. Like I would love to see the Yankees.
Hold on. But I just want to say though, I know that David Stearns is not going to let Edwin Diaz go and bring in a guy who blew the season for his team before he left to come to the Mets against the Mets. You know what I'm saying? and then
that's so funny. Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. Like, really, dude? Do you want to do that? And then, I mean, Mets fans are already kind of not happy with David Stearns. He's going to go. He's going to let Diaz go for this guy and bring in his guy who just wrecked the season for the Brewers. I mean, to me, Devin Williams, when the Yankees traded for him last year, I didn't get it. Because to me, how do you trade for a guy who ruined the season for the whole city? And you think he's not mentally damaged by that? To me, he was damaged goods. Came to the Yankees, couldn't handle the Bronx at all. Now this guy Stearns is going to pick him over Diaz. Like that to me could be a fatal mistake for him. I'm saying that's what I want to say.
Oh, I'm not saying I'm not advising him to do it, but it's a
Oh, no.
possibility. I
I
feel
know
like.
you're not.
But
I know you're not. I know you're not. I'm just saying, if he does that, like, I can't believe he's going to do that. If he does do that, he's a bigger fool than he's a fool. He's crazy. I mean, like,
yeah,
I would think he's smarter than that.
yeah, we'll have to see because is this a situation where Steve Cohen steps in and is like give him what he wants possibly, and he goes over Stearns to get him signed like he did with Juan Soto? I wouldn't be shocked because the Diaz family is close with the Cohen family as well, so that's another factor here. They are definitely very close to each other, so I'm sure that Steve Cohen does not want to see Diaz go to LA, or even the worst scenario for him, but go for the Yankees, would be if the Yankees somehow stepped up and brought Edwin Diaz to the Bronx. I would support that move, obviously. I doubt the Yankees would, but I could make several cases for it. I mean, it would make their bullpen one of the best in baseball again. They do have to replace Devin Williams' production somehow, and like they need another high leverage arm to go with Bednar. I think Bednar is a perfectly suitable closer, don't get me wrong, but Edwin Diaz is one of the best in the game still, if not arguably maybe the best closer going right now. So like, if you have Devin Williams setting up Diaz, then you're talking. But if you have Devin Williams just closing, I don't know. That could be a little bit iffy based on what we saw last year with the Yankees and the thing you said about the playoffs. Like, what he pitched well in the playoffs for the Yankees last year, but he did not pitch well in the Brewers in that situation with Alonso, obviously. So like, and there's also another guy I like too that I'm pretty sure you would as well. That maybe could be a factor for both teams. How about Robert Suarez, the Padres free agent reliever? I could see him being a factor for either squad. He is older, so it would be a shorter term deal, but he's definitely a closer. He could get a lot of eighth inning looks too. He could be like the 1A, 1B closer. He did save 40 plus. He saved 40 with the Padres last year. He's been pretty good for the last couple of years. He's a free agent. He's probably not going back to the Padres, so I think maybe he's a guy that both teams can monitor too.
Yeah. Well, definitely that would be something that both teams definitely should try and get him. The Yankees, it would be great to see them get Edwin Diaz. I mean,
that would be wild.
Yeah, that would be wild. I mean, they should be. They should be. Just took Devin Williams from them. Who even though I'm not gonna, because I have Mets fans trying to ride me, like, oh, we took Devin Williams from the Yankees. So like you said, he pitched well down the stretch after being really bad early on. There were times this year when I was like, yo, I don't even want to see him on the mound. Every time he came in, I was just like nervous. I'm like,
there was a lot of tough stretches.
Here comes the game, but he was able to pitch better when he got out of the ninth, so I'm not gonna go crazy that he's not there anymore, because like I said, there were times when he came in and I was like, yo, get this guy out of here. But they definitely do need someone to pitch the way he pitched down the stretch. He pitched very well. So Edwin Diaz, the Yankees need to be hollering at Edwin Diaz, trying to make that happen.
I know there's been some interest reported, but it seems more like due diligence, checking in, like if they could get him on their terms. Like, I'd be shocked if they handed it out. Like, I don't know. Diaz is looking for 5 years again. I don't know if he's going to get it. A closer at 31 or 32. A 5-year commitment's tough.
Let me ask
maybe he gets. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this question. Now, it appears that the Mets want Cody Bellinger, right?
Yep.
Now, the Yankees, the Mets got Soto from them. The Mets got Devin Williams from them. And the Yankees, it has not seemed like they wanted to get into a battle with the Mets over Alonso. Maybe they didn't want him that bad. Now here comes Edwin Diaz, who we know they could use. That would be, a battle, I'm sure. Now, okay, whatever. They may not decide to battle and get involved with Edwin Diaz. The Yankees so far, since Cohen has been here, the last 2 years, had not really seemed like they wanted to get into a big money battle. Well, they got into one with Cohen over Soto, lost it. They don't want to get into any other ones yet. Now, are they going to let Steve Cohen take Cody Bellinger from them too, or do the Yankees have other options that include other guys, not including Bellinger, if Bellinger is to leave?
Yeah, those are all good points. And let me touch up some stuff. Diaz is going to be 32 next year, so I don't love a 5-year commitment for him at that age. And he got
Yeah,
hurt with
yeah.
the Achilles. So,
I
like,
mean, yeah,
could you do
yeah.
4 years for, like, could you do four for like 90 plus, like give him close to his last salary, maybe bump up his AAV a little bit? But like I don't know how that's gonna go. If he goes to the Dodgers, that's awful for both teams, honestly. Mets are gonna try to. I mean, the Blue Jays are lurking too. Watch out for Toronto. They're looking for a high leverage arm. I don't know if he would go up there, but so Blue Jays are building. So let's get back to Bellinger and all this Yankee Met crossover, which has been really crazy the past few years. There's so many guys, even like lesser guys, like Luis Torrens has gone from the Yankees to the Mets. Like there's been a lot of instances. I mean, the Yankees have taken a few Mets too, to a lesser degree. But if the Mets get, well, the Yankees and Mets get in the battle for Bellinger, I think it's very possible you see another battle, but it's obviously not going to be nearly as high stakes or high money as the one for Soto. But could it be a 5 or 6 year thing? I don't love giving Bellinger 5 or 6 just based off his up and down career path, kind of. There's definitely some stuff that makes me think he might regress too. I feel like he had a breakout season almost last year. I don't know if he could do what he did last year every single year. But if he was to go to the Mets, I mean, it's very clear what the Yankees should do. They got to go get Kyle Tucker. And honestly, I would prefer to get Kyle Tucker instead of Bellinger at all, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But yeah, the Yankees have options if Bellinger leaves. Do they go internal with Dominguez and Jones? Do they try to sign? Do they trade for Brendan Donovan and move some people around maybe? Do they try to get like a Stephen Kwan I've mentioned? Do they go for Adolis Garcia on a low risk, high reward deal? I think there's definitely ways they could fill the void, but if Bellinger goes to the Mets, that would be very interesting to say the least after all the stuff that's happened.
Now, a couple of things. Bellinger, the one thing about him, he's very interesting because we talk about his numbers last year and a breakout season for him. A lot of down years, and all very true. Like when the Yankees first got him last year, when they traded for him, a lot of people were excited about it, and I was just like, okay, well, I don't know about this. It could go good, it could not go. So I said, come here and not struggle to hit 200, then it'll be a good move. He can be very, very good because he has some seasons where he hit 200. I was like, he can't come
That's what I'm
here and do
saying. It's
that.
such a high roller coaster arc with him.
Yeah, yeah. And that's how the Dodgers ended up letting him go. But what's
Yes.
interesting about him, but with all that said though, his highest high was higher than most people.
Yeah.
Definitely
He has an
a higher
MVP.
high than even
Yeah.
Cal Tucker's higher high when he won the MVP in 2019. I mean, what do you think? Like, what do you think about that season? I mean, what do you think about that great historic season he had? And after that, it hasn't been there. And so what do you make of that?
I think he has some injury issues as well. I guess people start to figure him out. I think he couldn't make proper adjustments after he was starting his slides. I think his strikeout rate was high, but he has cut down his strikeout rate a lot. He has sacrificed some power to do that, but that's good and bad depending how you look at it. I know the Dodgers have actually been mentioned as bringing him back as well. I
Yeah,
doubt it, but crazier things have happened, I guess. Another team I'm watching for in the outfield market is definitely the Phillies because they want to get rid of Castellanos. Schwarber's still sitting out there. I think the Phillies could make a move for Belly or Tucker or be at the top of those conversations for sure. I think it's the Phillies definitely are not afraid to spend money as we've seen in the past with some of the big deals they have. So I'm watching for Philadelphia. I'm definitely watching for Toronto for Tucker still if they don't get back Bichette, but I still think Bichette's going to go back to Toronto most likely. And that's a guy that would be a good Yankees target, but I just don't see them dishing out $200 million for Bichette.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But Chet's another guy who kind of been a little up and down the last 2 or 3 years here. And you don't, just kind of like he's had a little injury issue. And it's just, it's yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is he really a
He's
shortstop? I'm not sure. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. He's very interesting. Just to get to just lock in long term so much money with some of these guys. It's just really it's just not the It's just not the wisest thing to do. Now a couple more things for you. I just want to say real quick, Edwin Diaz, you got to give him a lot of credit. It's amazing that he is at this point where he's at right now because his first year he was bad for the Mets, a disappointment, and everybody wanted to run him out of town. There's nobody who thought that Edwin Diaz mentally could make it in New York. So he went from that to where he's at now. So you got to give him a lot of credit because no one thought that he would be where he is right now here. So that's one thing I want to say. Also, but to your point, to give him 5 years, if Edwin Diaz kind of like fell off at any moment, like it wouldn't be that shocking just because he's getting older. We've seen him not be great before, even though it hasn't been a while. And these closers, these closers, a lot of them, many of them are not able to really keep it going strong for a long period. But yeah. I wanted to also say Spencer Jones. So I'll tell you, man, myself, ideally, and I know this won't happen, I really wanted to see Dominguez and Spencer Jones get a chance to play every day. Like that's really what I want to see. I know a lot of people
if you want to see that, that means you don't bring back Bellinger and you give them a full shot. That's the only way that happens.
Right. I know, and it does not seem like that's going to happen. And then even there, only one of them can play. So I guess they will battle out. Then you have these guys, the possible trade option because we hear about Fernando Tatis. Okay, if you want to package them together for Tatis, okay, I'll be down for that. I actually saw Tatis at Madison Square Garden about maybe like about 3 weeks ago maybe. And
okay.
And at the time, I was the only one that recognized it was him. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of like sitting in the cut like to himself, but he was wearing a hat. I was like, yeah, that's him, Yeah. So, hey, so maybe he might have because I heard a story from A-Rod talk about when he was with Texas and he this is like a couple of months before the trade actually happened, but Boston was trying to get him, and like early in the offseason, he flew to New York, had a meeting with the Red Sox in New York about possibly how he'd like to play for the Red Sox, and they threw together some lineups, some possible lineups, and all that, and then 2 months later, and all fell apart. The Yankees, because the whole union got cut anyway. So maybe he was here talking, low key with the Yankees. I don't know, but also real quick, now, what are your thoughts on Corey Seager? Corey Seager is somebody who obviously Texas traded Marcus Semien. Yeah. He's available. He's a very talented player, always hurt. Got a lot of money still on his contract. He would look good in Yankee pinstripes. What are your thoughts?
I like both of those guys. I don't know how realistic a trade for either one is, but like if there was any part that was possible, then you got to extend the book at the Padres if they're actually willing to do this. Now, the only reason it's being talked about is because the Padres definitely are trying to cut payroll with new ownership. That's the only reason it's even being discussed. But there's nothing been confirmed to say he will get dealt. But, like, if he is out there, if the Yankees want to call him and be like, hey, we'll overwhelm you with this, like, make them think about it maybe. Be like, oh, okay. Like, it has to be something that's going to really knock their socks off if he's going to get traded, obviously. Like, it's going to be a drastic overpay if he gets moved, obviously. Like, they're not going to sell him for cheap or, like, medium value. Like, it's going to be the Padres win the deal by a lot if he gets traded. But, again, those are the type of deals you need to make if you're trying to end a 16-year World Series drought. And I feel similarly about Seager, too, actually. Even though there's an injury risk, I feel like he should have been signed the first time by the Yankees. He's won 2 World Series. He's elite when he plays, and yes, I know that's a big if, but when he still puts together 5 World seasons, like 120 games. His offense will be even better at Yankee Stadium. His defense really improves. Like, I could tell you about a million reasons why the Yankees should try to trade for Corey Seager. That's actually one of my favorite ideas I have any idea this offseason, honestly. Like, I don't know if the Texans is going to move him, but, like, it's not impossible that he gets traded based off what we've seen with them so far. And it's not like a guy you'd have to overpay to move because it's more of a salary dump in that situation. But you'd have to give them something decent if they really don't want to move him, obviously.
That, to me, I like him better. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I like him better. I think he's better than Tatis. And it's funny because when Seager,
you can make a case for that, yeah.
Yeah. When okay, 2 things I want to ask you real quick. So when Seager was first a free agent, like you said that you were all in for him, you wanted him. You know, that was
Yeah, I
when.
did.
Yeah, at the time, I didn't want the Yankees to go get any of those because it was a few guys. It was Seager. You had Simeon available. Texas signed both of them. You had Baez, who ended up being a disaster, and you had
Story, Correa. It was like a
Correa,
crazy. It was a crazy offseason.
yeah. And I didn't want the Yankees to sign any of those guys. I didn't, they all wanted these big contracts and big money. I didn't trust any of them. But even Trey Turner was in the mix at that time.
Yes.
But Corey Seager, I have to say, he's really impressed me with Texas. And I admit I was wrong about him. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's had injuries, I was wrong. Like, I would love to see him, the Yankees right now. I think he would be great for the Yankee lineup. Tatis, I want to ask you. So Tatis was somebody who I think, 2021, he had a monster season, had like 40-something home runs. He led baseball in home runs by a lot. He had more home runs than the second guy. And I was like, wow, this thing. And then, after that, like he got hurt. He hurt his wrist, whatever. So he didn't play. He missed several games that year. Still was so great. He had way more home runs than anybody else. And then he tested positive for steroids. Like that all season we hear. And then they say that he took it because he was trying to improve his injury so he could get back sooner. And then he gets suspended and all that. And since he's been back, he has not been as dynamic. He has not had as much power. Yeah. So which to me has been a disappointment because like he was my favorite player in the game in 2021 when he was doing all that. I was like, yo, this guy's the best player in the game, and he hasn't really come close to that. So my thing now is really, what is he? How good is he? How about that?
That's all fair questions too, and that is very legitimate concerns if you're going to trade for a guy with a contract like that. I think it's like 10 years, like 200 something left on it. The AAV is very reasonable for his age and like his performance still, even if it declines because he's only making around 25 million a year, which is peanuts for a guy of his talent. But like, I don't know if we're ever going to see that guy in 2021 again because it could have been a steroid fueled season. Unfortunately, I hate saying that, but it looks like that because it's an outlier if you're looking at the rest of his career. His home runs are up by like 17 that season. His RBIs are up by like 19. His OPS 975. He hasn't even come close to that since. His best was 833 last year. This year he was solid though. 6B WAR, like 25 bombs, 71 ribbies, 32 stolen bases, and an 814 OPS. OPS plus 125 will knock your socks off, but he's still a very legitimately good player because of his defense, his speed, and everything else he offers, even if that power never quite returns. But, like, it is tough because he's also one positive test away from a serious ban. So that's another huge risk you would be taking if he decides to fool around again and do it again, which I doubt he would, obviously, but you never know. Look at Alex, obviously. But that's a huge risk as well. He has been banged up a little bit. But it's manageable because it's not like a crazy crippling contract just because it's not like a 30 or 40 AAV. It's like 25. So, I mean, if there was any possibility, I would still do it, obviously. But there could be a little trepidation based on what you said, yeah.
You know what? Now, I would love, if they did trade for him, I would love to see him in the first time.
Yeah, I mean, they could use some help in their infield. He's such a good outfielder now. I don't know if I want to take him out of the outfield, but
okay.
I think he's such a good athlete, but I'm sure he could go back. And that's my friend Bobby. What's up, brother?
I mean, you could say they re-sign Jordan and they won't need him in the outfield,
That's a good point as well. I think the situation would be like you don't re-sign Bellinger and then you go get Tatis. I would be surprised if they were both on the team. I think it'd be more of a like they don't have Bellinger now. Let's try to go get Fernando. But to me, Bellinger shouldn't be Plan A again. I think Kyle Tucker should be Plan A. I still believe that. And I know people might be worried about the fit on defensive left field, but like the Judge needs a Robin. That's what Soto was. I know Tucker's not quite like Soto, but I think he's pretty good in his own right. I think you see a nice uptick at Yankee Stadium with Tucker because he pulls everything basically that goes out of the yard. So like that's where I'm looking at. I don't know if they will, but you want to shift to pitching a little bit, and then we can close down. Like, what are your thoughts on the pitching market for both teams, maybe real quick?
Sure. that's interesting. Well, I saw something last night where it said the Yankees were, going to make possibly make offers for Tarik Skubal. I mean, that's the guy everybody wants. Throwing Dominguez and Jones. I mean, I love the possibility of Dominguez and Jones, what they could do. So I hope other teams feel this how I feel. They do. The Yankees have two big chips to put in a trade for a big player, but yeah, I mean, try and get Skubal if you can, and about Paul Skenes. I can't see why Pittsburgh, even though we all know they want to lose him, in about 4 years. I mean, it's inevitable that the Pirates aren't going to have the money to give Skubal to give Skenes whenever he wants his big contract. So, I mean, should this Pittsburgh be like, hey, let's just get as much as we can for him now? I mean, but if you're Pittsburgh, how can you do that? How can you tell that to your fans? I mean, they can't do that. So, I mean, yeah, the Yankees. I mean, look, like now, Carlos Rondon is not going to be available at the start of the year, right? No Rondon to start off with. I guess Garrett Cole will be back at some point. So right now, in terms of the arms, Cam Schlittler, we hope he can do a lot next year. Then Clark Schmidt will be back. We know.
Like later in the year, yeah.
So who else we got out there?
You got Will Warren and Luis Hill, and then you would also maybe they call up a kid, Ryan
Max Fried, of course. So I mean, the pitching staff is pretty solid. I mean, when is Carlos Rodon come back?
I think it's like no throw for 8 weeks. I forgot. I think that was towards like.
Can you hear me?
October, early November. I think he's. Yeah, I got you.
Can you hear me?
Do you have me? Yeah, I can. But it is a little bit choppy now. Yeah, so it's a little bit choppy, but I'll reiterate some stuff I said quick. I'll try to get them back clicked in. So, like, Imai is definitely on my mind still. I think Alcantara is in play, like Mike King, like I talked about last night. For the Mets, I'm looking at Val's.
They love Warren too.
Yeah, I agree with you. If I'm looking at the Mets, like I think Valdez and Freddie Peralta make sense for them. And Skubal would take a big swing. I guess the Yankees would have what it takes, but the Tigers might have for a Cam Swing or George Lombard in that situation. I don't know. I think Skubal actually stays because I feel like the Tigers are going to have to get blown away. I don't know if they're going to get the compensation they want for 1 year of him. With Paul Skenes, like it's too early. No one has the package yet to go get Paul Skenes. Like his value's too much.
I kind of lost you for a minute.
Yeah, I think you're back. We can wrap it up though, because it looks like we're having some challenges here, and we got a lot in. So, do you want to give people your final segue of where they can find you? Yeah, I'm not picking it up. Yeah, it's not working now. I don't know what's going on. asked for the cancel. Yeah, I don't know. But do you want to? You're just having audio issues. All right, I guess we'll have to let it go probably. But that's all my information. You can find me. It's Julian Guardy1 on Twitter. Instagram is Julian Guardy11. TikTok and Facebook's my name. And subscribe to my channel. Check World Baseball Network and Latino Sports. You could try, I guess, see if you can get it to work.
Yeah, sure. Everybody, you all can find me at WBAI and WHCR Radio. WBAI 99.5 FM, WHCR 90.3 FM, and on social media, Instagram, Samori_B, Samori Benjamin. I'm not hard to only. Nobody has the name Samori Benjamin, so I'm not hard to find. Also on YouTube, Samori Benjamin Present. Check me out there as well. Thanks.
Okay, bro. Thank you. I mean, I'm sorry for the rough ending, everyone, but we got a lot of good content in the first 50 minutes before things got choppy, so at least we can hang our hats on that. Sometimes this thing gets finicky, so it's all good. We got some good clips we could snip and cut up. Got a lot of good conversations. So, Samori, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And if you still want me to come on after the winter meetings on your show, I'd be glad.
You know what? I think that the is beginning to